Hi guys, ArchieLuxury unemployed, and today I'm going to a product launch for Oris. That's right, Oris. Oris is having a product launch, and I thought I may as well go. Got invited, so that's basically what I'm doing, going to a product launch, and I'm wearing my Caliber 11 Monaco, Hoya Monaco. Very cool piece, Monaco. What can I say? It's cool, it's sophisticated, it's a Monaco for fuck's sake. So I'm on my way to, it's actually at the Treasury Casino. I like a lavish launch. So it's for Oris, and though it's not my favorite brand, I'll go to the opening of an envelope if you throw in a 3-piece meal deal combo barrel. So that's basically it. Yeah, give it a shot, see how it works, and get some footage for the channel. So that's the combo meal deal. That's the plan. So we'll see how that goes. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury again. ArchieLuxury covering the launch. It's at Treasury Casino. This is the Treasury Casino, looking very pretty. And I remember the Treasury when I was in my taxi days. The cab rank used to be just there where the busway is. Actually, it was right next to it. So you would wait there to get a fare if it was quiet. So that's the Treasury. That used to be the rank over there. They've completely fucked it up now, mind you. Completely fucked it up. But that's how life goes. It's just one fuck up after another there. But yeah, I remember it was right next to the bus. So that bus tunnel was always there, but it was right next to it. And they've closed it, unfortunately. But that's the way life is. Life is a bit of a bastard. What can you say? Life can be very tough. It can be hard. It can be... Life ain't no 3-piece meal and chips. It's not just a bucket of chicken. It's not just a 3-piece feed. It's quite difficult at times. So this is the Treasury. This is where the event is going to be. So I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to a combo meal deal, bucket, barrel of chicken feast. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this goes. So just about to go in there. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury again. ArchieLuxury unemployed vlogs. Wouldn't you know it? The Treasury Casino, the lab is actually in the hotel. So I've got to cross the road, the busy fucking road, go across the park to the hotel. So the lab is in the hotel. You always fuck these things up. It's just how life is. Life can be nasty and vicious, and now I don't seem to be able to get across this fucking road. Jesus Christ, come on. It's a 3-piece combo meal deal feed. I need the 3-piece combo, a barrel of chicken. That's what I need, a barrel. 3-piece combo meal deal feed. So yeah, that's the way it is there. So yeah, just going across the park now. Can't see any vagrants. No vagrants. It's a combo meal deal feed. Combo feed. So here we are. This is just going towards the lab. I can see it. The lab. Beautiful. The lab. There we go, guys. This is how it. You got to roll with the punches. If you got to roll with the punches, you got to go with the flow. You got to ease the squeeze. The lab. This is where I'm going. Found it. Look, the lab. The lab. It's the ArchieLuxury channel. So hopefully we'll get some footage inside there. We'll have some combo meal deals. Combos. We'll see what combo I can get a 3-piece feed, and we'll see how that churns out. I think I'm here. There we go. I can see it. This is the lab. Thank you. there. So we're talking to the GM of Oris.
Yes, Archie, you are. Yeah. How good's that?
Hey.
And we're here for Carl Brashear.
Hey, that's fantastic.
Carl, sensational.
Carl, that's fantastic.
I know.
That's great.
It is fantastic.
It's great. It's fantastic.
We're glad you could make it.
Hey, it's an honour to come. It's an honour.
Couldn't have met a more fitting watch
made
reviewer.
your day?
Yeah, more than made my day.
He needs the Oris for his collection. He bought
It is a beautiful watch. There, take a bit of video. That is a gorgeous piece. And the GM's holding it, hey?
Would you like the regional manager for Australasia?
So you work at Oris?
I do.
You're the...
I'm the region manager for Asia Pacific for this
Beautiful.
region.
That's fantastic.
And well,
It's a good brand. It's good. It's going places.
See what people like in Australia.
Yes. No, that's very good, hey? I always liked Oris, you know?
Good to hear.
I'm wearing a Monaco today. Monaco.
Too bad.
But the Oris it's a great brand. Just have a quick sticky at that. Ooh, that's beautiful, isn't it? That's absolutely beautiful.
Whole food of the man.
So you was going to tee up a dinner interview, and what went wrong?
No, 2 years. No, because I fly. I was flying in between Sydney and Bangkok. And I know you love Bangkok.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Bangkok too.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Bangkok. So you're collectors? Watch people?
Watch people, yes.
Watch people? That's
yes.
great.
Actually, you know what's crazy?
Yes, what's crazy?
Because of watching your videos, my first Rolex was an Explorer. Polar dial Explorer.
It's
No holes though.
Amazing. It's great.
Yeah, and I loved it. I loved that watch.
Why'd you sell it?
I actually flipped it because a friend gave me a better offer because it was his birthday watch. And I said, okay, always another Rolex can come along. So, I'll do the deal. I did the deal.
Sure.
And then I actually got a Grand Seiko.
I see.
After that. And then I went for this one, Rolex Datejust.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's
yeah.
fantastic. Datejust. Let me have a look at that. Put that in the camera there. We want to have that on the camera. Datejust.
Yes.
Datejust. What are you wearing?
I just got a Seiko limited one on.
Oh, that's great. Grand Seiko?
No, just Massage.
Massage. I like the Massage.
Yeah, the poor man's Grand Seiko.
They're very cool. That's great to see you guys. That's fantastic.
It's cool. Because when I first watched it,
in the city actually for 4 years I found out, which is way too long. And it's been great to today wander around just a little bit in the city center to see what's changed. I wish I had more time to just go along the river and, well, enjoy Brisbane a little bit, but that's probably for another time. But at the same time, I'm very excited to be here with all of you and to be able to not only share a nice evening together and talk watches, which we all love to do, I guess, but at the same time also to talk about one of our new releases, one of the new watches that we are here in Queensland unveiling for the first time. And what we have here is obviously a watch where, for me personally, I feel we have a very interesting design, a very interesting concept of a watch, and not to forget, a very interesting story coming together. And I will not tell you much about the story, you may have heard some of the details, but I can tell you, and this is why I keep it short, I can tell you that Peter will now take you through the whole story of this watch. Or later on. All right, later on. So he will take you through all of that. But in the end, it's great for me because we design watches and we work on this and we work on little details all the time and trying to make it perfect, basically what we think is perfect. But here we are today and we get some, I guess, very direct feedback, and it's great for me to see if you like what we've done back in Holstein. So let's see after we have something to eat.
Thank you, Mike. So we're going to serve entrees to warm you up for the evening, so to speak, and then just before main course, I'll be giving you a bit of an education maybe, or a talk on Carl Brashear, his story, the watch, the story, and hopefully you'll appreciate what we've done as much as we do, because we're very excited to present this watch here in Queensland tonight. So this is the premiere of the Carl Brashear in Queensland right here, and we're sharing it all with you. So enjoy your evening. Thanks.
let's just eat messed up with your
I quite like that salmon. You don't like it all.
You can have it. Oh, you can have everything.
Oh, you eat your duck, right? No, I'm not.
He's a boxer these days. He's gonna.
I do my training, boxing.
It didn't work. It didn't work. It was just too popular. But that doesn't matter. So some of you have seen it, everyone else, you'll have a chance afterwards. But first of all, and I mentioned it before, when we in a host plan in our office work on a design, work on a watch, on an idea, there's different things that need to come together. We need a strong design, we need the right mechanics, the right technology in there, the right functionality. It needs to look good, obviously. The materials, everything needs to be right about the watch. We want to have a great product that we are proud of. And on top of that, particularly something a little bit more special, it needs a story. Because nowadays we don't need watches anymore, actually, at least not to survive. I mean, everyone has a mobile phone, we know what time it is, so it becomes much more. And personally, I really like the stories of watches, whether it's a limited edition or not, whether it's something very personal, or a watch that's maybe meaningful in a collection. A watch needs a story, and the watch that we're going to talk about today comes with a very strong story, I would say a very special story. And, well, Peter will actually tell you a little bit more about that, so you know what's behind this story, and you know what the thing is here with this Brashear that we've been talking about. So I hand it over to Peter, and you can tell us a little bit more about what the story is behind the watch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, Mike. I'm all the way over to educate us with those words, but some of you know who Carl Brashear is, no doubt. If you don't, you can look down at the bar and you can see pictures of a very serious and determined man. And these are all in black and white or sepia. And unfortunately, you may not see the fact that he hasn't got a leg, because the person that did the creative for us conveniently cut that part off, and I wanted that shown. So Carl Brashear was a very inspirational man, and I'll tell you a little bit about the story of Master Chief Carl Brashear, who always said, it's not a sin to get knocked down, it's a sin to stay down. So very, very stirring words. So Carl Maxey Brashear, that was his middle name, was born on the 19th of January 1931 in Tonneville, Kentucky. At 17, he tried to join the army, but the army didn't want him. The Navy was much more welcoming, and he enlisted in February 1948. The US military would be officially desegregated later in that year. Like most black Navy men of the period, Mr. Brashear was placed in the steward's branch, doing chores for the officers. He was assigned to the naval station at Key West, preparing meals for white officers in the officers' mess. In 1950, Mr. Brashear was assigned to the aircraft carrier Palau. One day he watched fascinated as a diver slipped into the ocean to recover an airplane that had rolled overboard. Here was the adventure that he had sought for so long. He wrote to the Navy Diving School asking for admittance. He wrote again, and again, and again. Must have been Australia Post. Curiously, as Mr. Brashear later recounted, his letters kept getting lost. He wrote more than 100 times before he was admitted in 1954. Few of Mr. Brashear's classmates were happy to see him. He sometimes found threatening notes with racist overtones on his bunk. He graduated in 1955 and spent the next several years as a Navy salvage diver, but he longed to be a first-class diver, carrying out missions deep undersea. In 1960, after earning his high school equivalency diploma, he entered the Navy's deep sea diving school. Mr. Brashear failed the course. Unable to pass its rigorous science component, which included physics, medicine, and mathematics. He wouldn't be alone, I'll tell you, I'd flunk as well. For the next 3 years, he studied every moment he was not on duty, and in 1963 was readmitted. He graduated in 1964 as a first-class diver, third in his class. In 1966, Mr. Brashear was aboard the Navy salvage ship Hoist. That's the name of the ship, not it was a hoist, off the coast of Spain. The mission was to recover a hydrogen bomb that had plunged into the Mediterranean after the airplane carrying it had crashed. As Brashear supervised from the ship, a steel line broke, sending a heavy steel pipe hurtling towards the men on deck. Brashear pushed his men out of the way, but couldn't avoid the pipe himself. It crushed his left leg. He lost so much blood that he was initially pronounced dead by the Spanish hospital to which he was evacuated. After being transferred to Portsmouth Naval Hospital in Virginia, Mr. Brashear was told that his leg could be repaired, enough to allow him to walk with a brace and cane. The process would take several years. "Go ahead and amputate," he told the doctors. "I can't be tied up for that long. I've got to get back to diving." He was fitted with a prosthesis, and the Navy sent him his discharge papers. He didn't sign them. Instead, he quietly signed his own orders for a transfer back to diving school. He dived with his new leg, had pictures taken, and showed them to Navy officials. They didn't believe such a feat was possible. If you have a look, he's holding 100 pounds above his head with a prosthetic leg, and in all of those pictures, he's standing there with his prosthetic leg. Did running, walked upstairs with 100 kilos of weight on his back, all of these things. The Navy finally agreed to put Mr. Brashear through a series of tests, including climbing ladders with barbells strapped to his back to simulate a diver's staggering load. For the final test, Mr. Brashear was required to walk 12 steps unaided, wearing nearly 300 pounds of equipment. He took the steps and returned to active duty as a diver. You can see the helmet there. That's a replica, that's 25 kilos. The real thing is close to 40. In 1970, after more gruelling tests, Mr. Brashear became a master diver, the highest designation a Navy diver can attain. The 2000 movie, Men of Honour, told the story of Mr. Brashear's life. Starring Cuba Gooding Jr. as Mr. Brashear, Men of Honour chronicled its hero's struggle against seemingly insurmountable odds: rural poverty, a threadbare education, and the racism that pervaded the armed forces from the late 1940s when he enlisted until long afterwards. The movie also portrayed Mr. Brashear's gruelling fight to return to diving and to attain the coveted designation of Master Diver. A 31-year Navy veteran, Mr. Brashear retired in 1979 as a Master Chief Boatswain's Mate, the highest enlisted rank in the Navy. He was also the first person to be returned to full service as a Navy diver after losing a limb. Mr. Brashear, who was consultant on Men of Honour, called it a mostly faithful depiction of his life. The brutal diving instructor played by Robert De Niro was in fact the composite of several men, he said. Despite a lifetime of hard-won achievement, Mr. Brashear spoke about Men of Honour with something approaching awe. "Not in my wildest dreams did I think this would happen," he said in an interview. "Even after I lost my leg, I was just doing my job. It's not a sin to get knocked down, it's a sin to stay down." So a very stirring story. I actually got the chance to interview Philip Brashear, who was Carl's son and who runs the Brashear Foundation, and I asked him if there are a couple of stories about his dad. And he told me a couple of which I can repeat. Of course, Carl was a sailor, so you can imagine. One of the good ones was, well, Philip's quite tall, he's 6'6", and Carl was only about 5'5". And Philip said, I went to Dad and I said, "Dad, how come you're so tall and I'm so short?" And he said, "You better talk to your mother, because I was away a hell of a lot." So that was the one that I really liked. He said, "My dad was a bit of a wag, you know, he liked to play jokes on people." I said, "Oh yeah." He said he was in a bar with some fellow crewmen, you know, white officers as well, and they thought they'd play a joke because there was a a group of women in the ladies' lounge or in the lounge area next to it. So they started pushing each other, and Carl said, I don't like white officers, and the white officer says, we don't like black men. And so they started shoving each other, and Carl Brashear took his prosthetic leg off and started to beat the officer over the head. 3 women fainted. Quite good. So, yeah, he's quite a great man, Philip Brashear, and he's carrying on the tradition of keeping the story alive to inspire other people. So we made this Carl Brashear watch. This is the second one we've made. And we think it's a great story. And we made the watch out of bronze. So I don't know if anyone here knows what bronze is. But bronze is an alloy that consists primarily of copper and tin and contains other alloys to enhance certain properties. Bronze is highly ductile, exhibits low friction against other metals. It's sometimes called gunmetal because the old galleon cannons were made out of bronze so that the ball would slip neatly out of the muzzle, otherwise it would get jammed. Upon exposure to air, bronze oxidises, but only on its outer layer. This patina consists of copper oxide, which eventually becomes copper carbonate. This oxide layer protects the interior of the metal from further corrosion. Some of you may have seen Alexander's watch, which has turned a beautiful patina of brown, and that is the copper carbonate protecting the rest of the watch. And that is why bronze is used even in this day in marine applications. If you've ever been on the Love Boat or the Carnival Spirit or whatever, you'll see that there are spare prop blades on the foredeck, and they're made of bronze because it is such a great metal for marine use. Also, unlike steel, striking bronze against a hard surface won't generate sparks. This makes bronze useful for metal used around flammable or explosive materials. For a Navy salvage diver, that's very, very important because that's what the helmets were made of, spun copper and bronze. Silicon bronze, which is what we use in our watch and what was used in the helmets, is probably the best metal for marine use. It's an alloy of copper and small amounts of silicon. It is to all intents and purposes immune to self-corrosion, either in the atmosphere or immersed in seawater. It's hard and nearly as strong as the so-called marine grades of stainless steel. Oris used silicon bronze in the Carl Brashear series of watches, paying homage to the equipment used by Brashear at the time. Even the straps used to hold the standard Navy divers gear were made of leather of a similar consistency. Its use as a marine grade metal endures today with bronze fittings and immersed parts prevalent in shipping and diving industries. What better metal to make a watch dedicated to Carl Brashear, the master diver? So Michael's already spoken about the watch. It's a 43mm case made of marine grade silicon bronze with a screw down crown, 10 bar water resist. It has a stainless steel back plate, so you don't get any reaction with your skin from the copper content. On the back plate there is the symbol of the master diver and the motto, it's not a sin to get knocked down, it's a sin to stay down, and of course a limited edition number. The crest of the master diver, so there's 2,000 pieces, only 100 watches have come to Australia and New Zealand, and you guys are the first in all of Queensland to see it tonight. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks for listening, thanks for coming along, and enjoy. Thank you. So I think the main course will be served shortly, but continue on with the revelry and drinking and watch buying. So thanks very much.
I'm glad I saw you refer to it as a
You eat in there. It's good to see you healthy eating nicely. I like to see you being holding back, you know. Gourmet eating. And I'll just take a potato. Sorry, I'll just put one tip. Sorry, no. Very rude to do that. Thank you so much. Eat up. Is it good? What do you want to eat the lamb? The lamb is beautiful. What do you think? Succulent?
Oh yeah, very soft.
Right. Yep. got salads as well. Look at this. That is so wonderful, don't you think?
The channel.
Yeah.
Another fan of the channel.
Yeah.
Fan of the channel.
You can eat your friend when he comes. He doesn't eat to serve. I don't know where he's gone. They've stolen your friends.
Okay.
Can't take my eyes on me. My thoughts on me just grow and grow and grow. I am the best there is. I think that I'm so grand, so grand.
Hey guys, my name is Paul Pluter. I'm the method actor who plays Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. Guys, I need a bit of help. I need a bit of help. It's very hard running a YouTube channel relying on Google Ads alone. I'm in a special niche and I speak my mind, and I don't have all those Seiko wannabes, all the people who want assurance about their affordable shitters. So I've got to really try hard to bring in the revenue. Guys, if you like my content, if you think I'm a great chap to have around, why don't you help me out? There's a number of ways you can help me out. This will keep me full-time on YouTube. Look in the description of this video for some ways you can help me. You could sponsor me on Patreon. That allows you to send a small monthly amount to me every month. It can be $1, it can be $100, whatever you can afford. The next way you can help me is, well guys, I really need some money to keep things going. Paid reviews. On the Paul Pluter channel, I run paid reviews. For as little as $20 US, I'll give you an opinion of your collection, of what you're looking at. I'll try and answer. There's heaps of other ways you can help me. I do telephone consultancy. For $50 US, I will talk to you on Skype or WhatsApp and answer your horological or personal problems. Any questions, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Now guys, please help us out. Look down below, and if you could help us out, I will stay here and make videos full-time on YouTube.